Hello, all, and welcome to another riveting episode of Randomly Insightful. I am Random Jamal. This is Insightful Alex, where we offer you the most important thing in the world.
Our opinions.
Exactly. Not just our opinions about YouTube videos. I mean, what else is there? Really?
I mean, we could offer them our opinions about how they dress, or who they date, or how they should spend their money.
You know how you should spend your money?
On us.
Yes. Okay, so today we're going to treat ourselves and you, the viewers, to something I love on YouTube, and I'm sure you do too.
Porn?
YouTube. There is no porn on YouTube. Well, not any quality ones. By that I mean like actual.
Finger puppets?
Yes. Thank God. Finger puppets. Honest trailers. I love these guys. I've seen like a ton of their stuff, and they're usually pretty spot on.
Yeah, usually.
So
which honest trailer today?
Which honest trailer today is Back to the Future.
That's right. Grab your snapback caps and your shades.
Your self-lacing Nikes, your hoverboards,
your DeLoreans, whatever, your life preservers.
DeLorean was kind of a cool car for the time, but if you had to narrow down the 80s vehicle down to a single vehicle, it would probably be the DeLorean.
That or the Lamborghini Countach. That was pretty iconic for the 80s.
Yeah, because they both have that sort of like just squared, kind of like nobody wants to bend anything.
Yeah.
It's just a series of like angles on them. Alright, so without any further ado, let's get this started.
Oh, this is heavy.
From Steven Spielberg, Buddy, comes the blockbuster hit that stands the test of time. The sequel that launched a million BS Facebook posts. And the third one, the Back to the Future trilogy. Prepare for a trilogy of era-defining films that made everyone who wasn't black want to go back in time.
Colored mayor, that'll be the day. Be spooked, this don't concern you.
Featuring the one where they travel to the past, beat up the bully, fix the future, and set up the sequel. The one where they travel to the past, beat up the bully, fix the future, and set up the sequel. And the one where they travel to the past, beat up the bully, fix the future, and leave open the possibility for a sequel. Man, if you marathon these things, they start to get really repetitive.
Mom, is that you? It's mine, you chicken! Something very familiar about all this.
Journey to Hill Valley,
Never
a
noticed
place
that.
where the gene pool is so shallow that everyone's ancestor looks exactly the same as their descendants. And meet Marty McFly, your average 80s teenager who just wants to play guitar, hang from cars, and not get clock blocked.
Save the clock tower!
When Marty's handed the keys to a time-traveling DeLorean, he'll journey from 1985 to 1955 to 1985 to 2015 to a dystopian 1985 to 1955 to 1885, then back to 1985, all in the span of about a couple of weeks. Great Scott!
Always a five.
But Marty's not doing it alone. Along for the ride through the fourth dimension is Dr. Emmett Brown, an old man who lives alone and whose only friend is a teenage boy. He's a mad scientist who steals
I never
nuclear
noticed
weapons
before.
from terrorists.
They wanted me to build them a bomb, so I took their plutonium and in turn gave them a shiny bomb casing full of used pinball machine parts.
Test dangerous experiments on animals.
Einstein, watch your head.
And chose to build a time machine out of one of the most unreliable cars of all time.
It looked cool.
It was made of stainless steel, which blah 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 time travel.
Damn, gotta fix that thing.
To celebrate the original's 30th anniversary, revisit the creepiest blockbuster ever for a story about Marty planning to molest his mom so his dad can have sex with her, except his mom is totally into it. Which means her future son looks identical to the guy she had a crush on in high school.
Exactly.
And her attempted rapist does chores around the house.
It wasn't for him.
We never would have fallen in love.
It's still not as creepy as Doc's kid from the end of the third one.
It means your future husband.
That is a creepy looking kid.
What is he doing? But it's not.
He's
just
gonna beat up Marty
original
McFly
plot.
afterwards.
It's also parts of the other ones, like the train and the version of 2015 that got so many things right about today. From the endless 3D sequels
Drive 19.
to FaceTime to the 80s nostalgia.
Hipsters.
You'll almost forgive them for tricking you into thinking hoverboards were real.
They've been around for years, just that parents groups have not let the toy manufacturers make them, but we got our hands on some, and we put them in the movie.
Stop trolling, Zemeckis. So we turned to a simpler time, when this was the future.
He's actually made real ones of those and
This
sent them
was
to
the
Michael J.
present.
Fox.
Yeah.
And this was terrorism. As you try not to panic when you realize you're as far away from the first movie's release as Marty was from 1955. Wow, I am old. Starring Rick and Morty, Donald
Yes.
Trump, the Three Stooges. Hey, that's Billy Zane.
Yeah.
Crispin Glover, Bill, legit musician cameos, and Hot Car Time Machine. Doc and Marty's Excellent Adventure. You know what? The timeline continuity really holds up until they throw it all away for that Chuck Berry joke.
You know that new style you looking for?
I mean, if Marty changed the past, that means he never traveled back in time. But if he inspired Chuck Berry to write Johnny Be Good, that means he always went back. And then, my head. I hate time travel. Be sure to subscribe for more honest trailers. If my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit. What are you looking at, butthead? Nobody calls me chicken. I'm your density. Great Scott. Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Think, McFly. Think. Who do you think? The Libyans.
Okay.
You gotta love it when he does all the things at the end.
Yeah, I love it that people have now keyed in and they're asking him to say boobs, because I love the way he says boobs.
All day with this guy.
Oh, wow. Well,
That was
I never keyed in on that formula until they actually just kind of pointed it out now.
yeah, I noticed that right away.
I guess, to be fair, I saw, the last time I saw these movies were like years ago. So.
Yeah. Well, I've watched them all in a row, and yeah, you key in on those things. It's a good kind of repetitiveness. It's a running gag. So when he wakes up in 1955 and he sees his mom, you know, she's kind of hot and has the hots for him, you know, that's weird. And then in the second one, when he wakes up in the alternate version of 1985, his mom's got the huge fake breasts, which totally look fake, like they're just a plastic shell that you can get at the costume shop. You know, the joke is kind of funny there. And then in the third one, when he does it and it's his distant relative or whatever, that one, that's where it falls a little flat.
Well, it's the travel to the past, beat up the bully, come back to the future. Travel to the past, beat up the bully, come back to the future.
Mm-hmm.
That's, which, by the way, now that it's after October 21st, 2015, it's actually back to the past now.
Kind of it is.
And I am old as hell. That's how I feel. I don't know that I would ever want to see this series continued.
They were talking about doing another sequel to it, not a reboot, but like
An actual sequel.
Dr. Brown's kids, Jules and Vern.
But I feel like we have so much of this is based on the time that it was made.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the appeal of Back to the Future. It was the 80s take on the future, the 80s take on the past, and the 80s take on the 80s. And to make it now would sort of rob that from it, unless somehow you found an exact copy of all these actors and you just did the whole thing set in the 80s again.
You know, they did a Back to the Future cartoon.
Yeah, they did. I remember that cartoon. I used to watch it every morning.
It was
every
after
Saturday morning.
It was after the third movie because they always had the train hanging out in the background, and sometimes, you know, Doc Brown had to save Marty McFly, but he would go back in time and always run into some sort of version of Biff.
Yeah. You have three really good ones. Even the last one kind of holds up better than most thirds and trilogies.
True.
Don't make another. Just leave it as is. There's a good chunk of movie there, like 6 hours worth of movie there that I don't necessarily feel you need to have another. It's like a good miniseries on TV. You don't need a second season of it.
But everybody thinks that they're going to do the next Jurassic World. That it's going to be you know, a hot commodity, that they're going to do something and it's going to take off like that. And the reason why Jurassic World did so good is because the other two sequels were bad, so they really had motivation to make a really good movie. And I don't think it was as good as the first, but it was a pretty nice ride. So I think that when people see how good Jurassic World does, they start looking at their previous franchises and start thinking, what else can we do?
Well, the thing that helps Jurassic World is that it progressed with real time. Like the movie came out in '94, and I think they addressed it all that time. They've never stopped working on it. Whereas again, you know, Back to the Future very much relies on the era that it comes out in.
Well, the thing that would have helped a sequel to Back to the Future is if it came out this year, and really around October, what was it, 23rd? 21st. If a sequel came out then I think it would have gone over like gangbusters. But doing it after that, it starts to lose its relevance. I mean, we all kind of, this was an event that will never be repeated, because we all kind of sat around waiting for those 30 years to pass to see if Marty McFly ever showed up. And he didn't.
No, unfortunately he didn't.
Thanks a lot, Hollywood.
Neither did the hoverboard. By the way, for all of you complaining out there that, you know, you never got your hoverboard, think of the kind of damage you would do to yourself had you actually had a hoverboard.
I was listening to some scientists talk about why we don't have flying cars right now, and the biggest thing is that people can barely drive terrestrian-based cars. That if we put cars in the air, not only would you crash them into each other, but you also have that added danger of falling to the ground. So there'd be a lot more fatalities. So nobody really kind of puts any effort into it.
Yeah, which reminds me, what is it? It had Blade Runner. You know, Blade Runner, I believe, is set in 2019.
Is it?
I'm almost positive it is. But yeah, it's not that far off either. So, as far as movies predicting the future go, this is pretty spot on.
This did some things right, and they always show the TV, him having that big screen, flat panel TV, and then seeing all the pictures in picture, which you can almost do today. But yeah, I mean,
little things like that, as opposed to like taking giant leaps and bounds like Blade Runner did.
Yeah.
Where you have flying cars and.
Well, they still had the flying cars.
Well, what is it? That city was huge in Blade Runner, where basically an entire complex was a city.
Yeah. Well, it's stuff like this that inspires future products. Like, if you look at Star Trek, the iPod came around because some guy saw that Data had an endless supply of music at his fingertips. The iPad came around because they had pads on. Yeah, exactly. The phone. If you look at the old Razors, they flipped up forward. They were just like the communicators they had in the original Star Trek. People have been trying to work on real lightsabers. Lasers really, you know, laser technology excels because.
And that's Star Wars. Let's stick to something like cool, like Star Trek.
Well, no, just laser technology in general. Because we see it a lot in sci-fi movies.
Yeah.
We want to explore that more. If we never saw it in sci-fi movies.
Well, no, you're absolutely right. And if you think for a second that there isn't somebody out there who's trying to figure out how Tony Stark can have images just anywhere he goes like that, you're dead wrong. I mean, they're probably out there trying to make an actual Iron Man suit right now too.
Oh, I'm sure.
So yeah, movies have a transcendent quality to them that, you know, inspires that kind of innovation.
Definitely.
Big $5 words there. All right,
So you got your money's worth today with his vocabulary.
And now an urgent message from you, from the future. You sent us a message telling you to do 3 things to improve your life. 1, click the subscribe button. 2, click the like button. 3, leave a comment. You do these 3 things and you will have a hoverboard in the future. Alright? Now, I I need to find where I can get a DeLorean.
Texas.
Texas?
Texas.
Texas. All right. Road trip.
Let's go.